Alright, so I'm getting ready to polish this thing out, and I figured I'd show you guys how I do it. I've got two different types of emery cloth here. This one is like a 100 grit, and then this one's 240 grit. And what I'll do is I'll start with this one and get all the machining marks out of it, then switch over to this one, and then switch over to the brown or maroon Scotch-Brite and get that last bit of polish in with it. So I'm gonna throw a cover over my ways, find it. Crank the speed up in here. Let's see how that is. Alright, and that's got a really nice finish now. So next, I'll be starting on the milling. It's pretty warm right now. I'm gonna let it cool down before I throw it in the milling machine, so I'll bring you guys back for that. I figured since I got you here right now, I might as well show you guys what I do to clean after even though I had a cover on, I still come in, I've got this just liquid wrench lubricating oil. It's like a WD-40. I'll just spray it down and give it a quick wipe with that. And then I get this non-scratch Scotch-Brite, and I use this to clean off the machines. Once I wipe it down, certain I have all the grit off of there, I come in with this and just do a quick little rub down. This doesn't degrade the surface at all. It's not abrasive, it doesn't scratch or anything. But this is what I like using. It'll take rust and stuff off, but you're not damaging anything on the machine if you use it. And if a little bit of it gets left, it's not like it's going to hurt anything. And then for this lathe, it's SAE 20 is what the specs say to use. So I've got this little 3-in-1 SAE 20 motor oil, and that's what I use as the whey oil and all the lubricating points on this machine. So I figured I'd just throw that in there real quick, show you guys what I do. I gotta set the indexing head to 90 degrees. Lock it. And what I'm going to do to set my depth is I've taken the measurement of the width, and it is 1.208 after all the polishing and everything. I want to have a 1/2 inch slot of meat left in between the slots on each side. So I subtracted 1/2 inch from this and then divided it by 2, and that leaves me with 354, I think is what it was. Yeah, 0.354. So what I'll do is I'll touch off and get it set here with the bottom. Touch it off, bring it out, move it up, and I'll set the stop point so that I can come in and incrementally take passes and just keep going in a little deeper, a little deeper, a little deeper until I get the finished slot, and I'll set the stop so that once I hit that stop it's done, and then I can just move down and make all 3 cuts. So right now I think I'm good there. Raise my stop up. And the way that I do this, make sure I'm not touching here. I bottom the stop out. I let the stop hit and then lock it. That way I know I'm bottomed out when I start to do the actual cuts. And that is way too slow, so I'm gonna have to move belts around, which is gonna take me a minute, so I'm gonna have to come back. All right, now I've got the speed about where I want it to be, so I'm gonna come up until I touch. That is taken just a hair off. So zero this, come back, 354. That's 1, 2, 3, 50. All right. Now what I'll do is, I don't want to take a full length cut. So I bring it up, lock it, and then make my first pass and see how it cuts. That way I can come back and forth through it until I get where I need it. cut a really nice finish on there. Drop it down. I'm really debating setting up my flood coolant on this just because it is not liking, I'm not liking the way that it's cutting. I mean, it's cutting a good finish. There's no chatter or anything coming from the end mill. The squeaking is my belts on this. Whenever I have it set up on a higher cutting speed like this, it tends to chirp quite a bit. So I think I am going to stop the video here, set up my flood system, and restart it. Alright, so I parted it off, and I've got just a little bit of work I'm going to do to the brake. So I'm going to chuck it up. Just very lightly for right now, so that I can make just a few cuts here, knock all this stuff off, and then I'll chamfer for the edge. I just noticed that tip is chipped, so let me switch that out with the new one real quick. Alright, got a fresh carbide in here now, so alright, that's got it all. That's cleaned up pretty nicely. I'm going to try pulling this out and chucking it up on just this back piece here. I'm going to see if I can just hit it really lightly with the emery cloth. See if that'll knock those burrs off the edge. Oh yeah, that looks nice. That cleaned up everything off the edge there. Figures my air compressor kicks on right when I'm getting ready to start talking again. Well, I think that is it for the lathe work. On this brake, I'll just touch up the rest of these little tiny pieces by hand and be ready to mount and then glue and we'll be done. Alright, I got the brake attached. And I did have to tap it the last little bit to get it to seat on because I'd heated it up as hot as till I knew it was expanded all the way, and it still was just a little bit tight. But I also used this time this Loctite 638, and this is what Loctite actually recommended. I told them what I was making and asked them, what would be the best thing to use for it. And they said that this one is actually rated to be able to be used on heat fit parts. You put it on, like for this, put it on the barrel and then heat the brake and press them together and it'll hold. I think the shear force on it is rated at over 4,000 pounds. So I'm fairly certain that this will hold up just fine. I don't think it'll have any problems with coming loose or vibrating off or anything. But she's pretty much done now. I'm just going to do some buffing with some steel wool, and then I'll throw some bluing on it. Just the Birchwood Casey cold bluing, and get it packaged up and mailed back out.